out playing in the woods with his school of witches. Leave it to Tellman to always be something different. Anyway, I'm going to pretend to be him today and me. So let's have some fun. I hopefully am broadcasting now, and we will start to see some different feeds show up here and there. And let's see where we go. Let's see what takes place. How's everybody doing on a Saturday morning? It's looking like it is going to thunder here, personally. There we are. All right, now we're active in the art of email marketing. Cool. All right. So what's going on? What's happening? What it be like? And all that. Today, I thought we should talk about what I refer to as our stupid human trick. And it took me a while personally to understand and to be able to use this beneficially in my life. And not knowing it actually was interesting to me. So where we start to... good morning, Jacqueline. How are you? Let's see how I do this. Add to broadcast. All right. So let me just bear with me for a second here as I arrange these comments better. Where are the overlays? Overlays. I don't know. Well, it'll be better when we get to the other screen anyway. All right, so good morning, Jacqueline. So what is your stupid human trick? Do you know what I mean by stupid human trick? What is it that you do that is just naturally you, and nobody else can do it quite like you can do it? Just like the old segment on Letterman, the stupid pet tricks. What's your stupid human trick? The thing that starts to be interesting when you create the when you start to realize that you do have a stupid human trick is that everybody else tends to be able to see that stupid human trick that you perform very naturally, much clearer than you do, right? Like, and because we look at it as no big deal, we're kind of blind to it, and so we don't even think about it necessarily. We just channel it. We just are being it. Jacqueline, the system that I'm using is called Ecamm Live. I'm using the same system that I was using with Tellman, only instead of broadcasting direct from Restream, I'm doing it from my desktop where I have more control and I can see the comments and I can be within it. So I hope that answers your question. All right. So what I wanted to kind of just go through today and kind of make clearer, if we will, was like how to determine what your stupid human trick is, how to start to see it. And more importantly, once you start to see it, how to use it as a filter for both the what to do and the how to do it. And I think that we're starting to get good at the filtering in terms of what's within our best realm of interest. What do we do best? What do we create? What can we focus on? What are the opportunities that serve us best, that are most in alignment with our skill sets, our capabilities, our strengths, etc., our talents? And so when we think about that, though, that's not the only thing that we should be taking into consideration. Is, all right, once we decide on the what is it that how we're going to go about it is as important, if not more important than the what, is the how. And so using your stupid human trick, your SHT, as a filter, as a way of identifying how you should go about it may just be the zero factor keeping you from success, meaning that you might pick something, the what, a goal, you might pick the what perfectly, that's in perfect alignment with who you are and your stupid human trick and your natural way of being. However, the how you go about putting it into action, and may not be in alignment with your skill sets, with your, the highest and best use. So, going about it differently ends up being a different way of being. Now, I'm going to switch screens here so that I can put the comments up without them being, let's see. All right, cool. This just came in from Jacqueline. I teach people to bend metal with PK, psychokinesis, break through barriers, and teach psychic development, intuitive development for the advantage in business and in life. Cool. And also, I don't know if that's necessarily your stupid human trick. Like for me, I know that part of my stupid human trick is being able to empower people, to inspire people to see new possibilities, to be able to step into, to create their unprecedented future, and not only just create it, but step into it, actually live it according to what their goals and ideals are. So, for me, it's about helping people to identify that they have the power within them to boldly mold their own unprecedented bigger future. And so there's many ways by which I do that, right? There's many ways by which I can express that stupid human trick. One of them is in the way that I teach marketing or business development. Another one is the way that I just approach things in life, or just my way of being. So I would urge you somewhat to dig a little deeper. Yeah, thanks, Jacqueline. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's like, so your psychokinesis and your intuition is one way that you express your stupid human trick. But I would venture to say that whatever your stupid human trick is showing up in all walks of life, right? It doesn't matter whether you're teaching people about the PK, or whether you're doing something else in life, like being with your animals, for example, just to pick an outrageous point of view, so to speak. Who you are, your unique ability, that stupid human trick shows up in every way, shape, or form that you can imagine. Now, the reason why I've got this on my screen behind me here is that I want to kind of share with you how it was that I came into, really working on this and developing this way of thinking, and what really helped me along the way. And so there's 3 books that I'm going to recommend to you that were really instrumental. The first one is the Strength Finders 2.0. Which is actually what we're looking at, and we're going to go in a little bit more in depth behind us. Then I combined it with some brilliance from Perry Marshall in his 80-20 sales and marketing, and I'll explain why and what I mean by like how that really helped me. And this is going to come into play as well, the holographic universe. And I was looking through this morning. I haven't looked at this book in quite a long time, but I don't know if you can see like all my highlighted notes in here, and the way that I just ate this book up and devoured it, and it just was really I found it very enthralling, and I'm going to share with you, if you will, what made sense for me in terms of figuring it out. So the first book, which was the Strength Finders, led me to the Gallup website, which is what we're looking at right now on screen here behind us, so to speak. And I don't think I can show you because I'm broadcasting it from my iPad, so I don't have, and I'm doing it through the, I don't have a pointer on this right now. So, so be it. Anyway, so what we're looking at here, if you kind of like look up top here, and it's like a DNA strand, right? And it makes me uniquely who I am. And each of us have a unique, if you will, DNA strand as it relates to our strengths profile, about like what we're really good at, our natural talents and our domains of operation, how we kind of approach the world and look at it. And so this is the 34 of the major, or 33, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's 33 of the people over at Gallup, that do all the polling and such. They put this together, and what they figured out were these 33 different strengths that we all have in different combinations. And then they went so far as to figure out how they all interact. And what's kind of interesting is that just like a DNA strand, this is uniquely me, right? Just like we all have, but from a standpoint of what we're good at, what our capabilities are, what our abilities are. And this pointed me to being able to really observe how I show up in life altogether. And you notice that the top 5 are right here inside a special spot, and then the rest of them kind of go beyond it. Now, when I first got this, they didn't have this full report available to me. So I just recently, within the last 3 years or so, purchased the rest of the 33s to find out what order they were in regards to the way that they all kind of show up in life, and for me, and then of course the profiles of how it all combines together. For example, like Telman and I have a lot of our top 5 to 10 strengths are similar, but they're in different orders, and how they affect each other in different orders and how they show up are completely different in terms of how we express it in our personalities, so to speak. So what I love about this is that I can click on each one of these, and you see how activator pops up now, and then the next one down, and it shows over here at futuristic, and so on. So I can do it reverse too, like self-assurance. Well, there's the description. I guess it. So self-assurance is my 7th one, which is right. Nope, it's right here. Nope, right there. Sorry. So you can see where it kind of falls within your scope of how it all comes into play, and this brings me to. Besides the description of how this all comes into play and how it unfolds in your life, for me, it was like staring into a mirror, and it said things about me that I felt, but I didn't know how to express in words, right? Yeah, I agree, Jacqueline. It is awesome. But when I'm talking about the profile, what they were saying is it's kind of some of the stuff that was in me from birth that I knew it was, but I had no idea how to verbalize it. I had no idea how to explain it. And so then I could pick out the things that really made sense based upon the profile. And the profile is up here, just to give you guys an idea. I mean, these are the highlights of it, of how it shows up in my life, like activator, futuristic, strategic, connectedness, and then relator. And those are the top 5. And something that I find really kind of cool is that I lead with, It shows you what is the domain that you lead with, right? And from the themes. And there's 4 themes that all of these 34 strengths or 33 strengths fall within. And they're in the executing theme, in the or the executing domain, the influencing domain, the relationship building domain, the strategic thinking domain. And can you do others on that systems like me? Yes. Well, what you can do, Jacqueline, is you can purchase this book right here, or you can go to Gallup.com, and inside of this book here in the back is a code that you rip open, and you go to the website, and you can go through based upon the process, and you'll learn about it yourself. Then you can, from there, you can share your profile within their system with other members like me. Like, so if we wanted to share it back and forth, yes, you can do that on that system. Or if I was a coach, a coach inside of their system, the Strength Finders coach, then I could buy these codes and give them to my clients or students that I was working with one-on-one. So yes, I mean, if you're thinking about how to apply this to your work, Jacqueline, then yes, you can do that, and it's there, and it's very reasonably priced, I might add as well. So the thing to realize here is that, just getting back to the different domains, is that all of the 34 individual strengths fall under one of, if I can move myself out of the way here just for a second, which I can't because I locked it. Hang on, stand by. I will unlock the scene. All right, so now I move myself out of the way for the time being. And you can see over here now what these 4 domains actually are, right? So there's, and all of the 33 strengths fall in one of these 4 domains. And so the executing theme helps you make things happen. The influencing themes help you take charge, speak up, and make sure others are heard. The relationship building themes help you to build strong relationships that hold a team together. The strategic thinking themes help you absorb and analyze information that informs better decisions. Now, those are global. How they show up for you is completely different depending on how they are in combination with you. And so it's what I find really kind of cool in all this is that like I think it said less than 1% of the entire world population has the same profile as me. And I would venture to say that probably everybody's the same because they have a unique, if you will, DNA strand, like you see down here, that makes them uniquely them. This just so happens to be from a standpoint of your unique abilities, your strengths, and the themes in which those fall into play. And as you can see here, through the color coding, I lead with if we look below, I lead with the influencing domain as in terms of the theme. So, and you can see how the general theme of somebody that that does the you can see how the general theme of somebody that is using that leads with the influencing domain operates globally, you know, from a general standpoint. And then inside your user profile, you see how it specifically affects you. The name of the book, Jacqueline, is Strength Finders 2.0, and I'll put it closer than I did before. So Strength Finders 2.0, Tom Rath is the author, and Gallup really has done a phenomenal service by the way that they create the ongoing service here. And they just recently, like within the last couple of years, came out with one specifically for entrepreneurs and like freelancers, people that are independent in their business to do that. And that's called Builders. And there's a different profile for that, but I'll just show you real quickly that it's a similar type scenario where they analyze it, and as it relates to being a builder, or another word in their words for builder is an entrepreneur, is that I lead by being a disruptor, and that in terms of how I go out to the world professionally and present myself, I like disrupting, which is absolutely true. I love breaking up the status quo. I love to come at things from a different direction so that it can really entertain something different. Knowledge, selling, and confidence, those are my top four. And then it also tells me that my archetype, if you will, or role is expert. There's three main archetypes that they break it down into, and expert isn't exactly what I would call the you got to read the description to understand what it all means. But anyway, the point is that that also is available there. Now, I just want to kind of get back to this overall theme and talk about how these other two books come into play. So if you haven't purchased this book or read this book, I highly, highly, highly recommend going over to perrymarshall.com and picking it up. I would get it from his website. I think it's also available if you get it anywhere else too. But if you go to his website and 80/20 Sales and Marketing, when you purchase it, you then have the ability to do another type of assessment in terms of the 80/20 principle. Now, where this comes into play for me that blew my mind is that he talked about the 80/20 principle. And I've always been a big fan of the 80/20, and I've known it for, since I started becoming an entrepreneur, so, 30 years ago. But what was breakthrough for me, I've got it reversed. You're right. It is showing backwards. All right. Let me correct that. It's just, I did it so that, all right. So here's 80/20 Sales and Marketing, the definitive guide to working less and making more by Perry Marshall. Then the original book that I've been spending most of the time on is Strength Finders 2.0 by Tom Rath. And so that's the first one. And I highly recommend that you pick up all three of the books that I'm going to recommend to you. And then the last one is The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot. Now, the first two are definitely, the first two books are very definitely the, hard-nosed, real-world, bottom line, that type of thing, make things happen type stuff. Like tactical, professional guidance to improve your success ratios, whether it's personal success or professional success, right? And the holographic universe is definitely a combination of science and more spirituality. So, Jacqueline, if you haven't read the holographic universe, you are going to love it. Just knowing what I know about you from the past 5 or 6 months that we've been able to kind of get to know each other, so to speak here. The holographic universe is going to blow your mind. And I think that when you combine all three of these, the yin and the yang together, the wooey side of the world and the real, the quote unquote real physical side of the world together, that's where you have some true breakthroughs. And that's where I believe that you'll find your stupid human trick kind of hiding out, right? So just getting back to the 80-20 principle here of the sales and marketing, what Perry pointed out, besides putting together his own variation of this Strength Finders from a marketing and sales standpoint and from a business perspective of what is your highest and best use of your time and the profiles and from his perspective, which is excellent, by the way, and highly recommend that too, because that will give you insights into, developing it and making it your own and seeing how, what is your stupid human trick, your overarching kind of plan of attack that you then can learn to filter the what you want to do in the world and how you want to go about doing it, those two together, so that you have the best chance of that's operating within your natural success domains that is the highest and best use. Now, getting back to Perry's insights is that he explained, and this just blew my mind, that the entire process, the 80-20, is actually fractal in nature. And just to review what the 80-20 is, just in case, does everybody watching know what the 80-20 is in terms of the 80-20 rule? I think it was originally developed by Richard Koch. The 80-20 rule simply states that 80% of all your results comes from 20% of your efforts. So, and this carries out to all aspects of your life, right? Whether it's who does well on a test, 80% of the class will be, the 80% of the A's in any particular class will be made up by the top 20% of the students in that class. It just works out that way. And so what Perry did is he applied it, the 80-20, instead of it being general, he started applying it to us individually, and then he pointed out that it's fractal in nature, meaning that no matter how far you zoom in or how far you zoom out, it's still the exact same thing. Like the 80-20 principle on averages. Great. Thank you for writing those all down, Jacqueline. I'm going to put those up right now so that everybody else can see them and pay attention to them too if they weren't able to capture all of them on tape. So those are the three recommended books. I recommend that you start with Strength Finders 2.0, then 80-20 Sales and Marketing, and then the Holographic Universe to round it all out. Getting back to the fractal nature of things, right? The fractal nature of the universe, and this is where it starts to come into effect with the holographic universe as well, is that no matter how far you zoom in, just like a DNA strand, no matter how far you examine that DNA strand or what part of the DNA strand that you're looking through the glasses at, right, or from, you see the same the same strand, the same DNA is in all aspects of who you are. So just like the strength DNA or the Strength Finders DNA is in all, it expresses through everything that you do. So it doesn't matter what portion of it that it comes into play on. And this was mind-boggling to me, because what Perry then did is he took it to the next level. Instead of just stopping with 80-20, he took it to, all right, so what's the 80-20 of the 80-20? So if you know that 80% of all of your results in anything that you're trying to pursue only comes from 20% of your efforts, if you now break the fractal aspect of it down from the if you break the fractal of that top 20% down and you do 80-20 of the top 20%, then what you have is 64%. 64% of all your results total come from what? From the top 4% of what you're doing, the efforts. So you can still see the kind of leverage that you have by identifying that top 4%. It's better than 50% of all of your success results. of all of your results are coming from just 4% of your efforts. So wouldn't it be smart to figure out what that top 4 is? If not the top 20% is, that you should be focusing on, that you should be filtering, life through, so to speak. So what I did is I then combined that insight, if you will, of the top, first of all, the 80-20 and how it applies, and I applied it to the top 33 in my domains here. And I have a little card that I wrote it all down on that I keep, that you can't really see. Now you can probably see it a little bit better. But this is just an indication and a reminder that I keep taped to my computer so that I never forget what I'm using in terms of the filtering process when I'm feeling frustrated or whatever. I look at those things. So if you break down the top 20% of the 30 of the 33 of the strengths, then it turns into that there's 7. The top 7 are in my top. So all of my, or 80% of my results are coming from my top 7 strengths, right? And then I broke it down even further, and I realized that the cutoff was that 64% of all my results was a direct result of my top 2 strengths, right? So now we're starting to really start to break it down and start to see it. And this is when I really started to see what my stupid human trick is or was, combined in with what? Combined in with how it needs to unfold in my life, and so that I could to use that as a filter. Now, the interesting thing is that my tendency prior to this was to make the areas where I felt weak better, to focus in on the other of the 33, not focusing on the top 7, and definitely not focusing on the top 2 where I'm already got my strength, but to focus in on the areas that I'm weakest in, right? But that's only giving me over the rest of the 33 from 8 on to 33 of my strengths is only producing 20% of the results in my life. So even if I get really good at one of those ones, at the back of the train, so to speak, so what, right? So, I mean, it's going to make a marginal improvement in my results, in the way that I go about, and also, frankly, in my satisfaction, in the way that I get enjoyment while I'm doing what I'm doing, while I'm performing my stupid human trick. Make sense? All right. So the last piece of the equation, the holographic universe, which all kind of combines in together, talks really, to me at least, about, there's all sorts of really amazing scientific studies that they did in there that to kind of map out his hypothesis here in that he puts forth in the book, that the universe is kind of like a holographic nature, in the way that the universe is arranged, and the way that we can manifest things in our life from the idea side, from the energy side, and like Jacqueline's spoon bending, she's taking the energy side and she's showing you how to focus your intuition, your energy, and how to use that holographic universe side to cooperate and to change the physical world in effect. So where the holographic universe kind of fits into all of this is that the way a holograph works is that whatever that gets captured on a holographic film piece and then gets projected onto a holograph, right? And what's interesting though is that you can rip any part of that holographic film into pieces and still project through to no matter how small it gets, you can project through, and the full complete holograph shows up, materializes from the small segment of that. So it's kind of like, the 80-20 rule or the fractal nature of the 80-20 rule, right? Does that make sense? So when you start to really start to think about this and put it into play, this is what I mean by your stupid human trick starts to permeate. It starts long before what your skills and capabilities and your talents and your strengths are, and how in that in the energy space, the wooey-wooiness of the world, of how you kind of sort through that and what you're projecting through that holographic film to then appear in the quote-unquote physical world, in the real world, so to speak. So, like that. And the reason why I believe that the importance of your stupid human trick, so to speak, is just that real important, is because when you start to realize it, that you can then filter not only what you're going to do. So when I'm, the reason I keep that filter there, my first two strength domains, here, let me go back here just for 1 second. My first two, my top two, of my strengths here, my number one is activator. And it would probably help if I did it not on my computer screen, but on my iPad screen. My number one is activator, and my number two is futuristic. Now notice that my number one theme is in the influencing domain or theme of different types of strengths. And my number two one is in my futuristic one, is in strategic thinking, in the way that I'm kind of strategic in nature and in future, and I can see the future strategically. That's my strength. So when I'm looking at something and I'm evaluating whether I should move forward with that something or not, when I think about whether it makes sense to me, the whatever the what is, the project, the marketing piece, whatever the what is, I filter it through my top 7 strengths, all the way down to the top 7. And I make sure that it's in alignment with that. And really, I make sure it's in alignment with my stupid human trick that I've kind of narrowed it down to. Like, is this a way that I can express my stupid human trick and that I'll be happy doing it? Then the next thing I do is how I decide to go about it, it can be, I can be following somebody else's game plan when I start going about it. And if that game plan does not line up with me, with my, top 2 strengths there, I get pissed. I get frustrated. It doesn't work because it's going counter where I'm strong, instead of trying to, make it better and figure out how to improve where I'm weak. It's just naturally going against the grain of who I am and who I become in the world. So that's my cue to go, well, wait a minute, am I activating, am I living in the, is how I'm going about this, is it asking me to suppress my activator theme or suppress my futuristic theme in some way, shape, or form? And if it is, well, guess what? Then I know that, wait a minute, I need to go, assuming, of course, that the what I've picked to go after is the right, in the right alignment with who I am and what I'm looking to create in my overall stupid human trick in the world, and it's an expression of that somehow. Then I realize, okay, I got to change my approach if I want this to succeed, and I want it to succeed fast, and I want to get really stellar results from it succeeding and from what I'm doing with it. Well, if I want to do that, then I've got to change my approach from the way that I was approaching it, how I was going about it previously. And so this is just some of the benefits, if you will, that I would recommend that you pay attention to when you, it makes making your decisions. If you ever get stuck, if you ever feel stuck, or if you ever feel like you don't have enough clarity about what you should, or you're debating about one choice over another, or you're in that squirrel in the road that's zigzagging back and forth, and here comes the tractor trailer truck about to run you over. What I find really beneficial is to filter it, the what and the how, through my stupid human trick. All right, so I've been monologuing now for 40 minutes or so. Any thoughts, any insights? So now, Jacqueline and everybody else tuning in, what is your stupid human trick? How has it altered? What is a way that your PK is an expression of your stupid human trick, is an expression of your natural inborn strengths, talents, and abilities? Best guess. Now, if you don't know this off the bat, that's probably pretty common. I mean, like I said earlier, this is just stuff that you channel, that you just are naturally your natural way of being, and it just makes its way out of you. But one thing that you can do is outside people that know you well see your stupid human trick so clear. So ask them what it is. Like, what do you think that I do really well, that I do better than anybody else? And chances are pretty good that what they tell you is going to say, really? When you hear that, you're going to go, really? That doesn't seem like special to me. That doesn't seem like anything, that doesn't seem like any kind of real strength. Everybody can do that. And the natural tendency is that's a blind spot for us. So I recommend that even, after you dig into these three resources, that you also go through and pick the top 5 people in your life and ask them to give you their take on what is your stupid human trick. What is it that you bring to them that they can't get from anybody else? That type of thought, and see what they say. All right, cool, awesome. I empower, this is from Jacqueline, I empower others to wake up their potentials fast. Awesome. See, now that's really cool, because can you see now how that is, you can express that as, in multiple different ways, right? I mean, like that is, and you might choose to refine it over time. And you know what? It's not really the words that matter, that you express this in. It's whatever your emotional connection is to those words as you're saying it, then that you've got this. That you can, I can bottom line people's life's purpose and mission in minutes. Yeah. How cool is that? And that is definitely a gift. How many people struggle with what am I supposed to be doing here? I know that my life is more than what I've become. I know that I'm meant to be more, to do more, to be a part of things that are bigger than what I'm playing at right now. But I have no idea how to get there. And but if you can bottom line that life purpose and mission, and when they hear it from you, it emotionally connects with them, either in terms of goosebumps, the goosies all over your body, or in terms of like an emotional, like, almost crying because you realize that it's so true. Then that you're on task. Anyway, my point is, what's up, Gene? Good to see you. Yes, you're most welcome. Jacqueline, you're most welcome. And you know what else this is really going to help you do, Jacqueline? Like when you start thinking about your stupid human trick from these standpoints, and when you start refining it, and when you start seeing what are the things that come out of these reports, that these assessments that you'll be playing with and drilling down on, when you see how they'll refine it, and when you now can combine these two things together in different ways and look at it and enhance it, but this is going to inform your marketing. It's going to permeate through everything that you do, all of your communications, whether that be your written communications, whether it be your live stream communications, whatever it is, then you'll be able to focus in on being you and still delivering within the realm of who you are, your stupid human trick, exactly what you're trying to deliver to the rest of the world in that fashion. Make sense? Alrighty then. Well, if there's nothing else, that's all I really wanted to share today. Gene, if you're just joining us now, I highly recommend that you watch the rebroadcast of this from the very beginning. A lot of it will be a repetition, Gene, of what we've already discussed inside as you being an NPod client of ours. But I think this might pull it together in a different way for you that will be very helpful, specifically when you start to develop your X Factor processes along with your signature story type processes, because I think that'll really start to bring it home to you and, to start thinking in terms of your stupid human trick. All right. Well, if there's no other questions that are going to come in, then I'm ready to call it. So I'll give it another, 5 minutes or so, and then we'll see what's what. And thank you guys for tuning in, and sorry that it wasn't Tellman. Awesome. That's from Gene. Will do. I have my report and the book. Great. Yeah, please report back to us too. Both, obviously you will inside the NPod coaching community, but please report back here in terms of the live streams of how it starts to help, knowing what your stupid human trick is. You're most welcome, folks. Thank you guys. I appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, I know I'm not Tellman, so I don't get the crazy interaction. He'll be back from playing with his Witch's Brew on Monday. So you'll have to put up with me for another day or not, and flying solo, and then we'll dig into some cool stuff again with Tellman. And with that, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Bye.